Hey everybody, Kevin here with Bam One Garage. Thanks for joining me again. So actually doing an update to kind of getting the Jeep J10 running. So this was actually shot probably several months ago and it was still cold, and I actually still had the camper on the other side of the building here and everything, but still kind of enjoy getting it, kind of showing how I got this thing running, and go from there. Day working on the J10, just trying to get it running. This was, last time I had the video showing I got the gas tank in, got the fuel lines run. Essentially now have, try to go through, check all the fluids, make sure it's at least got oil, antifreeze, everything in it. It's still got a rear main seal leak that we'll see if I can either get it stopped with the stop leak in a can, or if I have to actually pull the oil pan off and actually replace the rear main seal that way to actually get that stopped. But I had the battery charging overnight. This battery's, I don't know, tell how old, probably 8 or 10 years old. It was something I think that my dad had in his tractor before he had to get a new one for some reason. So it's just been kind of in here. So, but I think it'll be enough, hopefully, now that it's charged up, to at least crank and run the engine. Ultimate goal is just try to get it running. So join me here, try to get some fuel in it, and we will then work on how to actually get it running. We'll see. Have to open the garage door in the back and go from there. All right, so check. I did have to put about a quart of oil in it. Not too surprised the way the thing just kind of leaked out onto the cardboard. I intentionally keep cardboard here under the truck in the shop just to try to keep the blacktop that I have in here from totally just getting ruined. Yeah, antifreeze looks good. Battery's actually reading like 12.7 volts, which is good. So yeah, I've got 2 or 3 gallons of gas probably in the tank. Had to fight this stupid EPA-based gas can. Have others, but theirs are ethanol free, and honestly, I just want to bother with ethanol free, trying to get this thing running to start with. So now I'm gonna actually try to prime the fuel line and fuel filter as much as I can. No, it's not gonna be perfect, but essentially just kind of taking some glass jars with some fuel and just kind of pouring it in to a filter and attached to the hose here, going into it. So I'm essentially been trying to kind of backfill it, and then I'll try to plug it and then put it up onto the fuel pump. Try to at least make it where the fuel pump maybe doesn't have to pump from the tank all the way to the engine before it gets started. We'll see if how lucky I am with that. All right, so open the door at the back here, try to get some airflow, and I guess we'll see if it'll turn over on this battery, or if I gotta get a jumper or something like that, or whatever. We shall see. See our custom, Dad helped me with this with the air cleaner. Essentially the center had completely rotted out, so I take the bottom of the pan for now and just kind of set it on top. At least it kind of holds it down. We know it will run with a splash of fuel. So. Challenge is still not getting any fuel up to that fuel pump. I know the pump works because we had run it off of a gas can. It may be just weak, and it can't feed all the way there. So let's see. May have to actually prime it from up above, maybe? I don't know. Maybe try that with a short piece of hose, and I'll see if I can get it going from that. All right, so I tried essentially putting some fuel in from the top supply line that's in front of the pump, just to try to make sure there's fuel in the fuel pump, so maybe it's not trying to pull dry. It did seem to work because it cracked the line on the lower side, and it did essentially was seeping out. We'll see if that helps at all. Probably also doesn't help this carburetor. I did rebuild it. I think I might have talked about that in an earlier video where essentially squirrels that actually literally had acorns between the top, I guess, choke and the actual primaries, butterflies down below. But with that, I never actually rebuilt. I had not rebuilt the choke mechanism yet, so the choke actually doesn't work. Which I know when we were firing it before off of just a gas can, it did make it somewhat difficult because essentially without the choke, it was a little bit cold-natured. I don't know, we'll give it one more shot here, put a little more fuel down to the carburetor here, see if it'll fire up and actually stay running, or if it, if I gotta do something else essentially with actually trying to figure out how to get the choke mechanism to work while I try to crank it. We shall see. Do at least actually have fuel showing in the filter now. Battery's on the weak side, so now it's getting a little bit drained down. All right, so I'm gonna try to manually kind of set the choke here. We'll see if it stays. See if that'll help it stay running. Alright, had to fight it a little bit, mess with that choke, make sure, probably had an air pocket or something. That fuel pump may be a little bit on the weak side. Close the door, maybe a little bit better. It does actually build oil pressure, which is good. Can't tell if the gas gauge either just doesn't work or if it's because there's only 2 gallons or so of fuel in it. It may not even be registering yet. But you know, it's running, got oil pressure. It's actually building some voltage, which is good. So yeah, it's get it run here in a minute and see if it'll just kind of keep purring. Oil and stuff burning off, but not bad. it running. It's must be burning off some oil, probably, and valve cover gas. It's probably blowing this thing too. Who knows? Got a pretty good leak. It looks like. Let's see. Negative temp gauge does not work. Yeah, all right. I don't know if you can actually hear it. I can actually show you down here, down below. You can kind of see a steady drip of oil coming out the back rear main seal there. So that is nice, I suppose. Things you deal with an old truck, right? Let me go get a fan, kind of start trying to push some more air through here, just so it doesn't get too fumy. Actually not, I mean, the truck doesn't smoke really that bad from the tailpipe perspective, so it's not burning any oil that way. It's really just that rear main seal just leaks like a sieve. So, I don't know, let me go get the temp gun, see if I can just kind of check, make sure the temperature and everything is okay. Since the temp gauge isn't, since the gauge on the truck doesn't work. Let me grab that real quick and I'll be back in a bit. All right, so back the truck up, kind of stuck the back of the truck out the back of the door here. So at least can kind of run it. Check temperature, everything was like 150, so I haven't started getting up to temp yet. So if I gotta crank it, let it run a little bit. I don't know, maybe if it keeps running good, or some of the rear main seal, Blue Devil rear main seal stuff in it. Leave it running for a little while. See if that'll actually maybe help that oil leak, at least some, to where it's not just a constant pour. At this point, I mean, that thing will leak out almost everything it's got at that rate. It's interesting that it almost, I guess it says the oil bleeds down. People may know more about these AMC engines than I do. When you first turn it off, it's like when it's worst. It just kind of comes pouring out for a few minutes there. Then it kind of calms down and stops. I guess as it drains down to the pan, it's all good. So, but it's interesting. It's almost worse when you turn it off than when it's running. So it's just an interesting phenomenon I've noticed. Maybe that's common across a lot of engines. If so, leave me a comment. Tell me fill in my ignorance here. Yeah, let's crank it up again. Let's see if it still runs good. And if so, I'll pour a little bit of this Blue Devil leak seal in there, see if that at least will help in the intermediate term at least. I know at some point I'll probably have to replace the rear main seal. I mean, I think it's sat since '97, so I mean that's what almost 30 years before it had run again. So all that rubber had gotten nice and hard. Maybe run it a little bit, maybe soften it back up. We'll just have to see. I'll have to run it a couple times over the next few days. Kind of do the same thing, just come out, crank it up, let it run for a little bit. Yeah, let it run for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes here, and we'll go from that. So thanks for joining me here today. I'm glad I actually got it running. I was a little bit worried for a few minutes there. Kind of a shorter video, I guess, full of content at least. Probably a lot of me, we'll see when I edit this down, a lot of me walking back and forth, scratching my head and wondering, what did I do wrong? I'm sure probably plenty of you are maybe watching this and being like, you just have to do X, Y, Z. But glad that it's running. Kind of over the next few days, I'll come out and just kind of crank it, let it run for a little while, turn it back off, just kind of get the engine going again, just kind of bring it back to life, try to bring itself back to life, see if those seals, that rear main seal especially, will actually kind of soften up and stop the oil leak, or if it's just going to continue to the point where I have to pull the pan and go from there. I don't know, we shall see, but truck needs some brakes. And beyond that, it'd actually be kind of ready to go after after kind of getting all those things. I got the windshield replaced kind of early on right here a couple months ago. Got it running now. I know the clutch works as we had driven it before. But yeah, so thanks for joining me here on Band One Garage. If you like this, please like, subscribe. If you have any feedback, please leave comments. Definitely appreciate any thoughts, positive or critique. I do not mind. So we'll see you guys next time in the shop.